Welcome back. So Congress hand-delivered articles of impeachment against Alejandro Mayorkas to the Senate yesterday. A trial is expected to start today, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer could halt that process before it begins.
As I've said repeatedly, impeachment should never be used to settle a policy disagreement. That would set a horrible precedent for the Congress. Nevertheless, the Senate's plan has not changed since last week. We are ready to go whenever the House sends us the articles. We want to address this issue as expeditiously as possible.
Okay, so that brings us to today. For more on what happens next and how this all plays out, let's welcome in Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who authored the Senate border bill. Senator, great to have you back on this morning. So again, these articles are now in the hands of the United States Senate. Walk us through what happens next.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see today. It looks like Chuck Schumer is going to dismiss or table an articles of impeachment, which he had said in his statement, it makes a terrible precedent to have an impeachment over policy. It makes a really terrible precedent for the Senate to not even take up articles of impeachment. The House has done an impeachment. That means it should come for a trial in the Senate. Schumer is currently saying he's not going to do a trial. He's just going to refuse to do it. They have the votes to be able to vote it down and to say we're going to ignore the House and the articles of impeachment. 21 impeachments in the history of our country, not a single one has ever been tabled or dismissed. So this is a very significant event if he chooses to do that. And this is not just a policy issue. This is a legal matter as well, as the House representatives and their managers laid out yesterday in the articles of impeachment to talk about how many times have Mayorkas either ignored the law or has just dismissed it outright. So this is a legal matter as well.
Alejandro Mayorkas has been an absolute disaster for our country. Is there any way around Democrats blocking this actually going to trial in the Senate?
We would have to have two Democrats join with Republicans to actually have a trial, as odd as this sounds. So if we can get two Democrats to be able to join all of the Republicans to say, no, we're going to have a trial, then we have it. But this is one of these moments where elections do have consequences, and you've got to have enough votes to actually move it. And if every Democrat, including Democrats out there that are from very vulnerable red states that Trump won in the past that are up for election, if they choose to just dismiss this, set it aside, it'll be a pretty clear message to the American people and to the people of their state what they think about border security.
All right, Senator, you are one of those members of the Senate that's known for working across the aisle. Have you had any conversations with Democrats in that direction?
Yeah, there's not been a single Democrat that wants to be able to take this on. Of all the conversations that I've had, all of them have said they want to just dismiss this, set it aside, and not actually engage on this. Where I engage across the aisle is where we've got to be able to solve problems. This is an area where we should be able to engage across the aisle to be able to solve problems. But they're not willing to be able to budge on this. They just want this to go away. They don't want to talk about border security.
It's a foregone conclusion. It will be voted down in the Senate. But where are the Mitt Romneys of the Democratic Party?
Well, they're absent apparently, and so we'll continue to be able to press. Our focus at this point is we want the border secure. That's why I work so hard across the aisle to say I think this is a national security issue that we've got to be resolved. To just ignore the 5,800 people yesterday that illegally crossed our border and to be able to see day after day these massive numbers of people in the thousands, for us to be able to just reject that and to say it's not a big deal is wrong for us. It is a national security threat. We've seen that. We know that we have folks from terrorist organizations that are facilitating travel of individuals into the country. We know we have a very high percentage of people coming now from China, from Russia, from the Middle East. Most of these are men in their 20s. We have no idea their criminal background, and the Biden administration's waving them in. I'm going to work with anybody I can to make that stop. But currently, we've not been able to make that stop yet.
Total logjam in Washington. What's new? I want to talk about what's going on in Israel right now and how you think that might play out. The Washington Post writing about the quandary in Israel. According to a senior Israeli official, we, quote, do not seek to escalate this. We want to contain this, but we cannot let it pass. So how do you think this plays out? What's the appropriate response for Israel based on what we saw Iran try to do on Saturday?
I think Israel will speak back on this. I was just in Israel about 10 days ago, meeting with senior Israeli officials and getting a chance to be able to visit some of those kibbutz that were overrun by Hamas terrorists. The people of Israel do not want to continue to be attacked. And while a lot of the world is looking at 330 drones and missiles that came at Israel from Iran, they're losing track of the fact in the last 6 months, Israel has had 12,000 missiles and drones come at them. 12,000 in just the last 6 months from the Houthis, from the Iranians, from Hezbollah, from Hamas, and from Syria. So it's been a very big issue for him, and Israel is trying to be able to make this stop. An appropriate way to respond back to that is to take out the facilities that are manufacturing these drones and missiles that are coming at them, to make sure that they're taking out radar facilities to make Iran even more vulnerable than what they are, but to have a very clear message. You're not going to attack us. We are going to push back, and to make it clear, never do that again.
Peace through strength. Senator, great to have you back on this morning. We appreciate it. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford with us. Thank you.